Okay, guys, my name is Desmond, and I welcome you to my lesson for today, where we'll be looking at sequence and series. Good people, please do allow me to say it's very much important that I say it's very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, because what I'm about to say is massively important, ladies and gentlemen, that I say a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. By so saying, please do make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. Very, very much important, lady. So, guys, just a last confirmation. Are you all happy that side? And are you all able to see over there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Last one to confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate I haven't done with you this chapter from the beginning. But one thing for sure, I am well aware that you are aware of what this chapter is all about. So, I will actually do a complete lesson during our winter classes. But for now, I'm only given 1 hour to present to you the questions sent in the group. But good people, at all times, make sure that you are aware of the type of formulas that you are most likely to be using. So we've got obviously what we call arithmetic. What is it? Arithmetic sequence. Okay, so let's say we've got arithmetic sequence as the first type of a sequence, and the other one we've got what we call geometric sequence. And then the third one that we are having, which is another type of a sequence, it's what we call a quadratic sequence. So the most important thing is for you to be aware that when we talk about this type of sequences, ladies and gentlemen, we need to take into account or into consideration the formula for each. So let's say this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. I just want to quickly take you through this short presentation before I start answering the questions posted by admin in the group. One thing for sure, ladies and gentlemen, I will take you through from the beginning of this chapter up until the end. So that's what we mean when we say we take you through the chapter from A up to Z, and then afterwards, that's when we look at exam type of questions. So number 1 being arithmetic. So this is the formula for an arithmetic sequence. So the formula is Tn, it's equals to A plus into n minus 1d. And then for number 2 being geometric, so we've got Tn being equals to an to the exponent, it's r to the exponent n minus 1. And then number 3, we've got a quadratic sequence being Tn, it's equals to an squared plus bn plus c. So ladies and gentlemen, we are most likely to be using these formulas when we're dealing with a sequence and series. So you just need to be aware that how do you notice if an equation, a sequence, it's an arithmetic, it's a geometric, or it's a quadratic. So the most important thing that you should be interested in doing is to find out if you are given a number pattern, you need to find out what type of a sequence it is. Is it number 1? Is it number 2? Is it number 3? And also, how do you determine if one is an arithmetic, geometric, or quadratic? So Obviously, for number 1, you are guided by the first common difference. So this is what I've always remembered. I've said for us to have an arithmetic sequence, we must be having the first CD. So what is the first CD, ladies? The first CD is the first common difference. So that's how you determine if a pattern is an arithmetic or linear sequence. So how do you determine if a sequence is a geometric? So ladies and gentlemen, let's see. If you need to determine if the sequence is a geometric sequence, you need to be having the first common ratio. So remember, guys, we say is the first because when you say term 2 minus term 1, if it gives you 2, and you say term 3 minus term 2, if it gives you 2. So this is the first CD, ladies and gentlemen. You've done the first difference, and that first difference, it gives you the common difference. So this C, it simply means you have common difference, common meaning the same difference. So again, if you say this term minus that term, it must also give you 2. So you can see you have common difference. So that's why I call it the first CD. You will notice why it's important to mention that first. So let's have a look at a geometric. So a geometric, that's where, ladies and gentlemen, remember, ratio is something over something. So in this case, because we're dealing with sequences, that's where you say term number 2 divided by term number 1, it should give you term number 3 divided by term number 2. So if you say term 2 divided by term 1, and for example, it gives you 3 after you've done that, and again, you do the same ratio and you get 3, and you still do the same ratio, you get 3. So can you see? It means you've done it first time and you are getting the ratio which is common. How is it common? It's because you have the same number. So that's how you notice that you are dealing with a geometric sequence. So now let's have a look at another type of a sequence called quadratic sequence. So curious, I've always known that the word quadratic, it means something or a letter is being squared. So in this case, can you see there you've got a squared, so that means it's a quadratic. So quadratic equation, quadratic inequality, quadratic sequence, in this case we're dealing with sequences. It is therefore a quadratic sequence. So how do you notice? So you notice a quadratic sequence by having the second common difference. So can you see between that and that, the difference is that in this case you have the first common difference, here you have the second common difference. For example, if you say term 2 minus term 1, let's say it gives you 2, and then you say this term minus that term. Let's say, for example, it gives you 3, and you say that term minus that term, and then it gives you, let's say, I'm just giving an example here, ladies and gentlemen, and then that one gives you a 5. So can you see, this is the first difference that you've made. It is the first D. It is not the first common difference. Why? Because the difference is not common. So that means already it failed to be an arithmetic sequence. Then you try again to check if the second difference will give you a common number. So that minus that is 1. That minus that is 1. That minus that, it's 1. Therefore, we call this the second CD. Why C? Because it's common. How do you notice it's common? That's when you're having the same number. But the first difference is not common. So you cannot call the first difference first common difference. So you just call it first difference. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that made sense in terms of you noticing the difference between the type of sequences. So obviously, I suppose you do know very well that A, it refers to the first term of the sequence. So it's actually term 1 in short. And then this is the number of terms, and then this is the difference. Obviously, because it's for an arithmetic equation, then this is the first CD. Obviously, A always is term 1, and then R, it refers to the ratio. What is the ratio? The ratio, in short, ladies and gentlemen, is something over something. The ratio is something divided by something. The ratio is something per something. That is the ratio, ladies and gentlemen. And then N, it's the number. And then let's see, obviously, Tn is the nth term. So also here, A, it refers to the first term of the given sequence. This is the number. And then B, it's what is it? A coefficient there, and you've got the number. And most importantly, C, it actually refers to a constant. So it's more like it's just a number which doesn't have a variable. So I think we can now, ladies and gentlemen, try to tackle the questions that we're dealing with. But I'm just not sure. Let me just check who has attended today's lesson. But ladies and gentlemen, is it clear for everyone? Are you guys following there? Are you all good with that side?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. The first question. What is the first question? Let me quickly try to go back into the group and read the question. So the first question being question number 3. Question number 3. Good people, it's very, very much important that you follow the numbering system used in the question paper. Question number 3. Let me just check what time it is. Okay, we still have enough time. So question number 3, let's have a look at 3.1. And it says, given the linear pattern. So we are given the linear pattern, which is, we have 7, we have 2, we have -3, we have da 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 da. Okay, so good people, make sure that for every mistake that I make, you make me aware of that particular mistake, because it does happen from time to time, because we are also human beings that we make. Guys, I want to quickly tell you something. I've always been saying this to most of you guys who have been attending my lessons during the beginning of the year. I've always been saying that when I was in high school, I invested much of my time into making mistakes. I don't think ever since that school was built that there's someone who has ever made more mistakes than I did. Guess what, guys? The more you make mistakes, the more you realize mistakes associated with a certain chapter. The more you make mistakes, the more you are able to explain to someone who doesn't understand. Because for someone who's clueless, for someone who's got no idea of what's happening in a particular chapter, they are also not aware of mistakes associated with that particular chapter. So what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that I welcome all the honest mistakes. When you try something of which you are not sure of. For the fact that you've got an idea, just speak whatever that comes to your mind. I welcome that because I've actually realized that I explain even better when someone makes an honest mistake, because it guides me in terms of how to explain to you to make sense out of something that doesn't make any sense. So, good people, our very first question says, determine the general term Tn of the linear pattern. And this question is allocated 2 marks. So remember, guys, it's not at all times where they are going to indicate to you that this type of a given pattern, it's a linear pattern. So that means, in short, we can either say the type of a pattern, it's a linear. Before I even say that, let me ask this question. So remember, guys, at all times in my lessons, when I ask a question, just mention your name, honorable member, and I'm going to recognize you. So the reason why I want you guys to mention your name when I ask a question is because some of you guys, you are not struggling with the network. So what I'm saying now, it's not like all of you attending this lesson will hear this message at the same time. So it puts those with poor network at a disadvantaged position when a question is being asked and they are not able to participate. So I know very well that Shuya's network is very powerful. He's able to instantly respond to questions being asked in the group. But just make sure that when a question is asked, you do not immediately answer, but you mention your name, and I'm going to select from the names that were mentioned. So here comes a question, guys. What type of a sequence is a linear pattern?
Lerato.
Okay, Lerato, go for it. Lerato Moleboheng. Okay, no, it's fine. Lerato, go for it.
It's an arithmetic sequence.
Hey, Utene? Lerato, can you repeat that? Utene Mhlekazi?
Get to say it's an arithmetic sequence.
Yeah. Are you chowing potato there? Just make sure that you swallow that beetroot that you are eating. Moleboheng, Lebohang is Lerato's sister. Moleboheng, can you correct your little sister there? I think she's chowing something. I'm not sure if she's chowing a Odao putu ne, Lerato. Are you chowing putu there? Moleboheng.
Sir, can I try again?
Hmm?
Can I try again, sir?
Yes.
Or say it's a person with a common difference. With a constant difference, sir.
Nie. Say that word again. What did you say, Lerato? Lebohang, awumsize lapho.
Quadratic, sir.
Nie. Let me try find guys, Grace, kunjani lapho?
Sir, it's Lisel here. Can I try the question?
Yes, is it Lesego speaking? Lesego Malatsi, go for it. I just want that word. What is it?
A
A linear sequence is a sequence with the first
With a
common.
constant difference. Abantu mnekona bashinda.
Okay, it's fine. Let me take it from here. So,
Sir,
let me
this
see.
person, this
Is it
person must answer.
Jacqueline?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's speaking now, but okay, it's Jacqueline. Jacqueline, it's fine. You can now mute your mic. So, Lerato, you got it correct. All of you guys got it correct, but I was mostly interested in that word that she was saying. She wanted to say an arithmetic sequence. I'm not sure that's what you were trying to say, but it's fine. Just make sure, Lerato, to pronounce it correctly. It sounded like you were still swallowing some putu there. Guys, make sure that when you attend lessons, you eat quickly. You drink whatever that you're drinking, then you will be able to pronounce these words correctly. So, a linear pattern, of course, it is an arithmetic sequence and not a geometric sequence and not a quadratic sequence. So, in case you are not told the type of a pattern or sequence that is associated with the question, the first thing that you need to do, guys, I've always been saying, always, when you're dealing with a question paper, before you look at the question, try to understand the type of a problem that you're dealing with. Because in exam, you are given nothing else but problems to solve. When you get to the workplace, ladies and gentlemen, you are given nothing else but the problem to solve. So when you get to varsity, guys, they will be teaching you on how to think on another level. When you get to workplace, I'll be coming to your company as a client to say, I've got a problem which is 1, 2, 3. So every time when you're given a problem to solve, you don't just immediately try to provide solutions without you firstly trying to familiarize yourself with the problem. So for each and every chapter, you need to be aware of how do you study a problem. So this is how you go about it. Okay, question 3, it's all about sequence and series. Okay, in sequence and series, how many types of sequences do we have? We've got 3. What are those? You've got an arithmetic, which could also be called a linear sequence. You've got a geometric. You also have a quadratic. How do you notice or differentiate between those 3? I've already explained all of that, and I'm sure all of you are aware of that. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that you need to do is to try and find out what type of a sequence are you dealing with, in case if it is not mentioned and they just said given the following sequence. So normally what I do is to try and test if it's an arithmetic. If it fails, I go to a geometric. If it fails, then I try a what is it, ladies and gentlemen? A quadratic. So that means I'm going to say, okay, we have 7, we have 2, and then we have -3. So I'm going to say this minus that. Something that you guys are making, which is a common mistake. It's not like you guys are not understanding. Guys, where's my calculator now? Okay. I'll just use my head. Just make sure that whatever my head is telling me, it's correct. So 2 minus 7. So it's better to have it in brackets and say 2 minus 7. What is that, guys? I think it's -5. I hope I'm correct with that. So it gives me -5. Then what is -3 minus 2? So in brackets is -3 minus 2, and this is equals to -5. So I'm having -5. Okay, now I'm able to notice something. But remember, guys, what type of a mistake are you most likely to be making with this type of a problem? So the moment examiner gives you a term with a negative, they know you're going to say a 2 minus 7, and then it gives you what? It gives you negative 5. And you're going to say a, what is it? Negative 3 minus 2. At least this one, it's not a that much complicated in the sense that you are most likely to make a mistake. But still, some of you might forget that negative over there. Or otherwise, if a negative is on that negative 2, let's say this pattern was that negative 2 there, and here it was positive 3. So a mistake that you're most likely to say is that 3, and then you just say minus 2, and it gives you 1. Whereas you must say 3 minus into negative 2. So I'm just trying to emphasize the point that please do make sure that for every negative number that you're dealing with, put it inside the brackets. So let me try to think of something. So it's more like always, ladies and gentlemen, why the reason why you have to put in that in brackets, it's more like always when you're about to touch a pot which is hot, always make sure that you put on the gloves. If you don't put on the glove, you're going to get bent. So the same here, ladies and gentlemen, always when you're dealing with a negative number, just think of a very hot pot. So always when you're dealing with a hot pot, make sure that you put in your gloves so that you don't get bent. So with you getting bent, it means you are most likely to be getting something wrong for all the chapters, not only for this one. So can you see it's promising that possibly this could be an arithmetic sequence because of the first CD. So to test if it could possibly be a geometric sequence, you'll say 2 divided by 7, it gives you 2 divided by 7. And again, you try negative 3 divided, already it fails. You can see that it fails to be a geometric sequence. Let's see. If you say this minus that, it obviously gives you negative 5. If you say this minus that, it obviously gives you that. But there's something, ladies and something very, very much interesting. For you to determine if a sequence is an arithmetic or it's a geometric, you need at least 3 terms. But for you to determine if a pattern or a sequence is a geometric, you need at least 4 terms. So you need term 1 there, term 1, term 2, you need term 3, and you need term 4. Unless if they give you just 1, 2 terms and they state in the statement to say the first 2 terms of a quadratic sequence, the first 2 terms of a geometric, the first 2 terms of an arithmetic. So the moment they say it's an arithmetic, that means whatever that you do, focus on that formula for arithmetic. Whatever that you do, if they say or they mention geometric, use that formula for whatever the guys, at all times you need to understand the type of a problem that you're dealing with. So that means you need to determine whether the given sequence is an arithmetic, geometric, or a quadratic. Before you go to the questions, that means you need to run this test to test what type of a sequence you are given. So in this case, luckily, it is mentioned. So remember, guys, I always say in my lessons, no matter how simple the problem may be, I'm not really that much into a teaching or showing you exactly how you solve that particular problem, but I'm mostly interested in giving you guys an information that it might be useful in your exam. Guys, I'm telling you, you will remember me when you'll be writing some of your exams. In case if you remember something which was mentioned in one of my lessons, guys, just smile. There's nothing wrong with you smiling. Invigilator won't penalize you for you just hammer that big smile, ladies. You remember when they buy you guys some Christmas clothes, that biggest happiness that is being shown on your face, just smile. But don't smile too much because you end up making mistakes there. You just smile for 3 seconds and then from there, you continue. Okay, so let's see. What is the question saying? I think the question is talking about the general term of the linear pattern. Because already they said a linear pattern, that means this is our main guy. Let's see. Tn is equals to the first term a into n minus 1 d. Okay, so when they say the general term, they are simply saying write that equation in the form of a t and n. So let's see, what is our a? We know our a is the first term of the given sequence. What is that difference? In your mind, you know that this is not just the difference, but is the common difference, of which you find when you do the difference for the first time. So let's see, we did say 2 minus 7, it gives us what? It gave us -5, and we did say 3 minus that, and it gave us -5, which means we are having our first common difference over there. So let's see. That means we have Tn being equals to a being 7 plus into n minus 1. Our d, ladies and gentlemen, someone is going to say it's -5. This is completely wrong in your mind. So in your mind, you are having that -5 substituted there. It's wrong, guys. It's completely wrong. You don't substitute it in that way, because it's now more like you are having a 7 plus into that -5, but in your mind you are saying -5. So put it inside the brackets to test that this is wrong, guys. Even your calculator is going to tell you that. Punch this on a calculator. Let's say you have a 4 minus 3 close bracket and then say maybe +5. Can someone punch this and tell me what the calculator is saying? I'm sure it won't agree with you when you do that. It's an error, which means you do not substitute the d without putting it inside the brackets. Now put it inside the brackets and see if you're going to get an answer there.
Yeah, so it's +5.
So, good people, make sure that always when you substitute your d, you put it inside the brackets. We do see a lot of these miracles when we're marking at the marking center, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are doing miracles. Just make sure that you get everything correctly there. So now it's just a matter of you removing the brackets, and then you'll be done. So that means you've got Tn. So you can now say this times that, and then this times that. What are you having there? So remember, you just have 7 plus, let's see, this multiplied by that, it's giving you a -5n, and then let's close it inside the brackets, and that times that, it's negative times negative, it's a positive. 1 times 5 is 5, so that means you're having +5 over there. So can you see you've got the terms, the constant terms that you can work out? What are you having there? What is 7 plus that is 12, I think. Yes, it has to be 12. And then there you have that invisible 1. So it's invisible 1 multiplied by that. So it's actually a -5. So this is the nth term, or is the general term of that sequence. Guys, I'm not sure. Do you all agree with me on that one?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
let me quickly rewrite it somewhere there so that we do not lose that general term. So this question is allocated 2 marks. Let's see. So you're having the general term Tn is equals to 12 minus 5n. Okay, it's fine. So let's quickly try to check 3.1.2. What is it saying? It says calculate the value of term 20. Ladies and gentlemen, the weight, the value, it means just give us nothing else but a number. Sometimes you might be in grade 12, in grade 10, but being confused by this type of questions in terms of how do I know when they want me to calculate Tn? How do I know when they want me to calculate n? How do I know when they want me to calculate whatever? So good people, every time when you see the weight, value, the magnitude, it means your final answer, it should be nothing else but a number. So can you see in this case, they are saying T20. So in short, examiner is saying wherever you see n on this formula, substitute 20. So that is how you are able to then interpret this type of question. So it's not only in this type of a chapter where examiner try to give you some tips, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a signal. It's a signal for you to notice that in short, examiner is saying wherever I see n, I just put in 20. So that means T20, it's going to be 12 minus 5 into 20. What are we getting there, ladies and gentlemen? I don't want, okay, let me guess. Maybe this is what? This is 100 minus that. What is 12 minus 100? Is it even 100? I think it's 78.
88.
Yes. It's 78, isn't it?
No.
88.
No,
88, sir.
Hey, what am I smoking? It's 88. Okay. Guys, let's see. I think we can now move to the next question, which says, which term in the pattern has a value of that? Okay, so let's see. 3.1 point. Remember, guys, always make sure to follow the numbering system used in the. If you don't do that, I'm telling you, I am not going to give you marks, guys. Even if you're getting them correctly, coming with them nicely, I won't give you a mark because I don't know if you're answering whose questions are you answering. Just make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that at all times you pay full attention to detail. So make sure that the numbering system correspond with that of the question. So let's see. The question says, which term in the pattern has a value of that? Which term in the pattern has a value of that? Okay, this is what you can also interpret this question. So, which term in this sequence, ladies and gentlemen, has a value of -3? Mention your name to answer that question. Which term in the pattern has a value of -3?
How hells is term 3?
Hawelo has mentioned their name and went for it. So she is saying term number 3. It is the one that has a value of -3. So that means term number 3 has a value of -3. So in this case, they are saying which term in the pattern has a value of negative that. So they are asking which term of the pattern is actually equals to a -138. So Shreyas and everyone who's in grade 10, I'm just trying to indicate to you that when you are having that internal whatever thinking that you're going through, ask yourself this type of questions to say, okay, there they are saying term number 3 is equals to that. But in this case, they are saying term number whatever is equals to that. So you can see that this is exactly what you are calculating, because you don't know which term in that given sequence is actually equals to that. So you use the general formula. So this is the general formula that you can use to do whatever that you want to know regarding that given linear pattern. So that means wherever you see Tn, you substitute that, and then what you want to know, it's actually that n over there. So the general formula says Tn is equals to 12 minus 5n. So can you see where you see Tn, you substitute that. So you have negative 138 is equals to 12 minus 5n. So I've always remembered that sequence and series, it's not that much complicated. The only problem is when you are not able to interpret the question. You are not sure of exactly what examiner wants over there. And the most confusing part is when they want you either to calculate Tn or n. But when you do more of the questions, you realize how questions are asked when they want you to calculate Tn, how questions are asked when they want you to calculate n. In terms of D, it's obvious. In terms of A, it's not that much tricky. But I hope today you've learned that the moment they talk about the value, they want nothing else but a number. So can you see how examiner asked that question in order for you to determine the number there? Okay, let's see. How do we solve? Hey, guys, there's that song that I like. Chabalala, one side. Maluleka, one side. I don't know if you guys know this song, but I know Shreyas knows this song very. Shreyas, Maluleka, one side. Can you unmute your mic, Shreyas? Baloi, one side. Shreyas, are you there? Let me see. Let me see.
Yes, sir.
Shreyas, in short, what does this song mean?
So we must have letters to the left and numbers on the right.
Good people, Chabalala, one side. Let me see. Gauza, one side. Lerato, one side. Let me see who's attending. There's someone with a dot here. They don't have a name, but let's say dot, one side. Lebogang, Sizeni, Grace, Jacqueline. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I like this song because always, even in your solve X type of a question, it simply means take all the letters to the left side of the equal sign and take all the numbers to the right side of the equation. So for someone who's in grade 10, they might not really know how to approach this type of, but that song, it's saying all the numbers or all the letters to the left. So can you see we have a letter there on the right side of the equal sign? We don't want it on the right, we want it on the left. So you move it. Let's move it. But remember, when you transpose, it changes the sign. So it's currently a negative sign, so it's going to be a positive n. Then this is equals to, so you move all the numbers to the right. Already you have 12 on the right, which is good, but you've got these on the left. Move it to the right, it changes the sign, it becomes 138. So you are trying to achieve this thing, ladies and gentlemen. You say whatever letter that you're solving, it's equals to whatever number there. Let's see, what is this, guys? I think when you punch this on a calculator, 140, 150. Okay, 150. Let's see, it's equals to 5n. So you divide by 5, you divide by 5. No, that cancels there. Then n, it's equals to
80.
30. This one who said 30, I'm sure he's from Western Cape or KZN or whatever. Is this answer? Lerato, I know you call this thing answer. Is this answer correct? Is it correct, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys are saying this answer is correct. But let's have a meeting, guys. Always when we're calculating for n, are we ever at some point going to have a negative value for n as an answer? No, not as an answer, but as an answer. Are we ever going to have that in real life?
No, sir.
Oh, sir.
No, sir.
Dear grade 10s, what our brothers and sisters are saying over there, they are simply saying, if you get to a point where you are calculating for n, Shreyas, Ferdinand, Mr. Kele, wherever you are, good people, never, ever, 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 ever get your final answer as n being a negative number. Never, never. Just know that if you get a negative answer, you did not get an answer, but you got an answer. So a number is always a positive number. It's only Tn which could be a negative. No, not only Tn, but on this general formula or on this formula, Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1d. So this can be a negative number, this can be a negative number, this can be a negative number, but this one is always a positive number. I hope there we agree with each other, ladies and gentlemen. So quickly, let's try to have a look at the next question. What is the next question saying there? It says, okay, we are given something, and this is question 3.2. Okay, I'm just going to remove all of these. Remember, guys, we're still on question number 3. Let's see. 3.2. This is what we are given, ladies and gentlemen. We are given 6, and then we are given 2x plus 1, and we are given they just use and as a word there and say and what is it? Is 3x minus 3. They say that are the first 3 terms of a linear pattern. So can you see they are saying this is a linear pattern. So because they said it's a linear pattern, it means we are still dealing with this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case if they want you to calculate something, in case if you've got no idea, just make sure to look at this formula. It might give you some possible answers. Okay, so let's see, ladies and gentlemen. They say calculate the value of x. Normally, when you are given this type of a pattern, especially with letters, it could be any letter from A up to Z. In this case, examiner chose to use letter X. So sometimes they can use letter D if whoever sitting the question paper is Desmond, but if it's Adelaine, they are going to use A instead of X over there. So that means in this situation where you're given a pattern with letters or a letter, possibly they are most likely to want you to give that. Whether they want to this or that, but firstly, they are most likely to be requesting you to tell them the difference. Otherwise, solve for the unknown, which is a letter which could be A up to Z. And most importantly, they are going to mention the type of a pattern that it is given. They are either going to say it's a linear, or arithmetic, geometric, or quadratic. You just need to know the characteristics of each and every. Okay, let's see. So here they are saying this is a linear pattern, and the question says calculate the value of x. What is it that you know about a linear pattern? You know very well that when you say this minus that, so it's more like when you say term 2 minus term 1, you know very well that it has to be equals to term 3 minus term 2. You know very well that the first difference is common. For what? For an arithmetic or linear pattern. So that means this is something else that you should add on top of this formula, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, A is actually the same as T1. So just be aware of this type of information. But before I even continue, do you guys agree that when we're dealing with a linear or an arithmetic sequence, always the second term minus the first term is always equals to the third term minus that term? Do you guys agree with me on that one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If that is the case, then because the question says calculate for x, they're simply saying take that and substitute it into what you guys are agreeing with over there and then solve for x. So let's see, what is term 2? Term 2 is 2x plus 1 inside the brackets, then you minus, which is that. What is term 1? Term 1 is 6, and you're saying this should be equal to term 3. Term 3 is that minus. What is term 2, guys? Term 2 is 2x plus. Guys, can you see that not only when you are handling a hot pot or not only when you're dealing with a negative sign, but always, even when you're dealing with a positive sign, take it as a hot plate. So what do you do when you're dealing with a hot plate? Put in the gloves. What are the gloves? The gloves are the brackets. So you will notice that if you did not put the brackets there, you were going to get chabalala one side. Baloi one side. Let me see who has attended this lesson. You know, I like this song very. Let me see. To me is the Mofe. Khonse go ya yang ka fo. Adelaide, are you good there? Who's this one? Bye bye. Are you? How?
Yes.
Rema Tshidiso, go ntse go ya yang ka fo Northwest. Le ntse le tshela sentle ntate. Let me see. Jacqueline Mahugo. Season. Kuhamba njani lapho? Lebogang. Are we still okay that side? Rato. The arithmetic one. Let's see. Spandile. Kunjani lapho. Combination kunjani lapho. Let's see. Dot. How's guys? Are you doing well that side? Let me see. Shruyas,
Yes, sir.
are you okay there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. Let's see. Let's apply the song, guys. What is the song saying? The song says you need to have the letters on the left and you want to be having the numbers on the right, especially when you're dealing with a linear type of an equation. So let's see. Network ya o tshwenya ka fo. Hey, network e ira bjang bjanong. Hape nna ke re ke fetsa lesson message ko ona o fitlha ko Ferdinand. Mara lesson yona so fine tse ya yang e dope, is it e dope? Re Matshidiso e dope.
Yes, yes.
100%. So let's see. Network ya Ferdinand but it's fine. Ferdinand, this lesson is being recorded. I'm going to post it tomorrow and share the link in the group. So just in case, if you feel like watching this lesson again, it's going to be posted in the what is it? It's going to be posted in the group, and then from there you can watch it over and over again, because it wasn't just a matter of answering these questions, guys. I hope you have learned one or two things over. Okay, chabalala one side. What are we doing there? Okay, we want to remove the brackets. How do you remove the brackets? You know you have invisible 1 in front of every bracket. So is that times that times that. So we are having 2x, that times that is just positive 1. There we have invisible 1, negative 1 times 6, it's minus 6. It's equals to, always in front of brackets you have invisible positive 1. If it's a positive there, so it's that by that. So what are you having? You have 3x, that by that is minus 3. What are you having there? You always have invisible 1 in front of the bracket. So the sign is negative there. So that means it's negative 1 times that, negative 1 times that. What? Hey, negative 2x, that by that, it's negative 1. Guys, chabalalawa. Hey, is there someone who wants to sing this song for us, guys? This is a very nice. Shreyas, do you know how to sing this song? No. Shreyas must sing us this song
No,
for
sir.
today, guys. Niye. Shreyas, can you say chabalala?
No, sir.
Niye. Shreyas, give it a try. Say chabalala.
Shabarara. Shabarara, sir.
Okay, you got it correctly. Let's try Baloi.
No, sir, I'm fine.
Okay, let me see. Sizeni, which Malul? Sizeni, go for it. Maluleka. Can you say Maluleka there? Hi, Sizeni is watching. Sizeni, are you still there? Sizeni is watching Uzalo. I knew it. Jacqueline, Jacqueline. No. Adelaine, are you still there?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you say Maluleka?
Maluleg.
Okay, that means you can be able to sing the song. Shreyas ran away. Can you just give us a one verse? Hurry, Adelaine, hurry. Adelaine won't disappoint Tabiano. Combination. Spa. Babu Andile. Kunjani
Yebo,
lapho mhlekazi? Kunjani? Kuhamba njani
asaphila.
lapho?
Hamba
Nathi
kahle sir.
siyaphila. Nathi
Yes.
siyaphila Nkabination. Chabalala, one side. Maluleka, one side. Easy. Go for it, mhlekazi. Go for it.
Uyithathaphi le ngoma thishela? Asiyazi thina.
Awuyazi le ngoma. Ingoma
Ingazi.
ingoma yaka Big Zulu baba. Ingoma iphumile. Inemalanzi ambalwa what am I saying, guys? Lerato. Ngifuna ukuthi ine amalanga ambalwa man, inemalanga ambalwa, but it's fine. Guys, I like this song, I'm telling you. What is it saying? It says all the letters that I'm seeing there, I must move them to the left. And Shreya said, you must move all the numbers to the right. So let's see. Here we are having this letter. So we have 2x on the left. So there, what is that minus that? What is that? I think it's negative 5. Just make sure there. Then on the right, what am I having? Here, let me say I have this and that. These are the common, so it's actually just 1x. What is this and that? These are the constant, is minus 4. Yes, I think this. So this song says move all the letters to the left. So that means here you have 2x and then you move that one, it's minus x, it's equals 2. Move all the numbers to the right side of the equals. So you already have negative 5 there. You move that one, it changes the sign, it becomes that. Can you see? We are closer to getting to that. So what is 2x minus that? it's actually equals to x. What is this plus that? Make sure to punch it on a calculator as negative that by that. I'm sure it's going to give you a 1. So, yeah, someone said, ubani loyo, ubani loyo, ubani loyo, ubani loyo, ngiyamfuna, ubani loyo, ubani loyo.
Tumelo, sir.
Tumelo, isinika yini lento le? Utheni?
It is a positive 1, sir.
Niye. Okuqaleni utheni?
I said 1.
Niye. Guys, did she say positive 1 or negative 1? Is it me? Hey, can someone help me? Did she say positive 1 initially? Hayi, ungathi Tumelo uyasishaya la. Tumelo, did you not say negative 1 first time?
No, I said positive 1.
Hey, guys, what am I smoking today? Hi. I'm sure everything that I've been saying, it did make sense. I thought you said negative 1. Okay, it's fine. I'm happy that you got it. So someone might have said negative 1 because of that negative, but I know you are going to punch negative that and positive that on a calculator, and this is what you're getting. So how do you know if this answer is correct, ladies and gentlemen? Is there someone who wants to tell us as we close or wrap up our lesson for today? How do we know if our answer is correct or wrong? Rato. Before you give me an answer, Rato, just say arithmetic. I want to hear if you finished that put.
Arithmetic.
Rato, what are you saying? Are you still
Yes,
showing
sir.
put to them? Can you say
No,
it for the
sir.
last time? What is it?
I'm not
Give
able
me
to
an
pronounce
answer.
this word.
No. Give me an answer. Ngifuna i-answer.
Yeah, and say arithmetic.
No, it's fine. I think you are going to block my phone. Give me an answer for my question then. How do we know if this x is wrong or correct?
So I think we must substitute with 1 where we see x. Then we'll write the values after substituting with 1. Then it's gonna be a pattern. There'll be a pattern. Then you try to find a difference in that pattern. Then you'll if you get a constant difference, then you know that your answer is correct because it was given that it's a linear.
You don't sound like someone who doesn't know how to pronounce arithmetic. Guys, did it make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Guys, are you sure? Because if it did, then I'm not going to explain. I will end the lesson. Did it make sense to everyone? Hausa, Adelaide, Jacqueline Mahunko, Dot, she's an
Yes,
otaku.
sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
We
Lebogang,
understand.
Sizeni, Grace, Baibe, Molefe, to me, Shreyas, did it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, guys, thanks very much for joining. I hope you did enjoy the lesson for today. Just make sure that all of you guys who are in grade 12, you join the lesson for Mr. Sibanda at 8:30, where he'll be taking you through what is it? Is it calculus? I think he'll be doing calculus today. So today's Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, and then Thursday. So tomorrow, are we doing a bit of sequence and series, then functions, and then on Thursday functions? Can we do that, or do you guys propose that tomorrow I start with functions? What are you guys saying? Or are we still on
Tailuma, teacher.
yeah. Let me not say it. I think it's a lumala in combination. Outie. Let me leave it for Larat. What are we doing, guys, tomorrow?
Functions, sir.
Sir, functions, please.
Functions.
Okay.
Function.
The but. What about the but?
Say in sequences, which as like the last questions, the one that say the consecutive what you see, say those last questions.
Who's speaking there, Mrs. Consecutive? What? Who's it? Let me see. Who's speaking there?
It's Tumel, say. It's Tumel.
Tums. Okay. So, in short, what we can conclude on this one, let's say for tomorrow's lesson, we break it down in this manner. Let's say 10% is allocated to that what, and then 90% will be focused on functions. So just make sure, Tumelo, that you inbox me with the type of a question which has got those what. I'll have a look at it and find a suitable one. I will just explain in terms of how you approach it, and then from there we do more of functions. Happy day, guys.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
guys, have a very good night. In case if you're still studying, make sure that you study. And then for those of you in grade 12, get ready for your next lesson. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed today's lesson. Have a very good night. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bye, sir.